We're back in the same position we were in a week ago. Jamar Chase now holding in or holding out, if you will. Same thing. Look, when your head coach comes out and says Jamar Chase is playing week 1, he's going to be at practice all week, he tries to control the narrative. He put his foot right in his own mouth because Jamar Chase said, "You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. You're not going to speak for me and suggest something. You have no idea what in the hell is going through my mind." Jamar Chase making a big statement. Coming off the back of a CeeDee Lamb $136 million contract, $100 million guaranteed. And I'm not trying to defend a player making millions and millions of dollars. I get it, but he is making just $1 million. I'm not saying that's not amazing. Of course it is, but he's making $1 million. You know you have something special to the tune of a top 3 wide receiver. This is a unique situation where the player does, market value wise, deserve to be paid more than $1 million, put his body on the line, go out there and sacrifice. Not to mention the organization, Brown and the brass of Cincinnati's made it very known that a negotiation, a new contract is in the cards this year. This is not him coming up with an idea, hey, I'm in my 4th year, not my 5th year. He's got 2 years left, realistically, under contract with the Bengals. This is not him coming a year early saying, give me a new deal, I'm going to start creating a new trend. This is a trend for all top 3, top 4, top 5 wide receivers, where if it's in the best interest of both parties, and it is because Jamar Chase costs more next year than he does this year. So it is in Brown's interest to get this done. It is in the Bengals' interest to get this done. Jamar Chase, back in street clothes, shows up, they're saying 13 to 15 minutes late, in street clothes, walking right here. You can see this. I have this on my Instagram if you want to watch the live footage of him just walking. That's all he's doing is walking. That show, Breaking News Edition show, begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So back at it again. We're here on a breaking news show, digesting what's going down. Jamar Chase not at practice today, in street clothes, shows up late, making a statement as his own head coach says he's coming all week long. He's going to be out there. He's going to be ready for week 1. Speaking a little out of turn, Jamar Chase came, I believe, this is my way of trying to define this situation, and I'm guessing, I'm trying to put the pieces together. But Schefter and the boys have kind of mapped out what I'm mapping out here, and I'm putting some of that together and with some of my own conclusions. But my guess is that Jamar Chase was kind of promised that a deal would still be worked out, or that they would keep working toward a deal. My guess is Jamar Chase hasn't heard exactly what he wants to hear. The effort may not be in full effect in his mind. And so when he's sitting there going, okay, I told him I'd show up. I told him I'd put my best foot forward, but they need to continue to work this out. And I'm not hearing what I want to hear. I'm not seeing what I want to hear. And my head coach comes out and says, I'm playing week 1. I'm going to be practicing all week long every week. And I'm like, no, the narrative being told is not accurate. Let me go back into hibernation mode. I don't know what we should be thinking at this point. I don't know. From a fantasy football perspective, you got to be worried about the fact that this guy is in holdout mode again. The likelihood of injury goes up every single minute that this guy isn't on the field. And he's kind of got injury risk anyway. He's kind of comes with a little bit of injury risk. And I don't know that I feel comfortable drafting Jamar Chase over guys like Breece Hall, Of course, Bijan Robinson, who's my number 1 overall player. Christian McCaffrey, who I can cuff now very comfortably over on the cuff board. Let's go there. Feel a lot more safe with the Christian McCaffrey draft selection inside the top 4 now. Even with the calf injury, the 28 years old, the heavy workload. The last time Christian McCaffrey got a workload to the tune of the one he got last year, he was out for 2 years straight. So there's concern, but Mason, we've got clarity. We've got Eli Mitchell on IR. His season is done. We've got Garendo and Mason. You kind of got to grab both. If you're in a very shallow bench league, you might not be able to do that, but maybe you don't go the direction of McCaffrey in that particular league. Maybe you only go McCaffrey in a league where you can house all 3 of the San Francisco running backs. But we have clarity. Jordan Mason's there. I feel more comfortable with CMC. Bijan, of course. Tyreek Hill, who, yes, he's older, but he's not holding out. It seems like he's got the least amount of injury risk out of the top 3 wide receivers. Lamb Chops is back. He doesn't have a whole lot of injury history anyway, so I feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable with Lamb Chops right now. Something I don't think I fully felt. I would say like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, 2 days ago, but now I do. Now I feel very, very comfortable. At the end of the day, guys, it's up to you. Whether you want to draft a guy like Jamar Chase over a player like St. Brown, who might be safer, could be just as productive. St. Brown is said by many to be top 3 capable, not just top 5 capable. A.J. Brown now enters the conversation of being potentially safer than Jamar Chase. We've got a lot of different ways we can look at this and ways we can spin this. And the bottom line is this. You got to do what you got to do. You got to make the decision yourself. I can't tell you Jamar Chase is going to get injured. I can't tell you Jamar Chase isn't going to be back at practice tomorrow. I can't tell you that Jamar Chase won't hold out through week 1, week 2, week 3. I can't tell you any of that. All I can tell you is that this man is pissed off right now. This man's in his street clothes. He showed up late and he's holding in again, if not holding out. We don't even know the full extent, but he could show up tomorrow. They could patch this up. There could be a deal announced tonight. We could go live at 8 p.m. and announce the contract signing. And if that happens, then we got to ask ourselves, how comfortable are we? How comfortable are we with drafting this man moving forward? That's up to you. That's up to you. Even if he returned today and signed a long-term deal, Jamar Chase still, in my mind, holds a little bit of injury risk that I don't necessarily love. He holds injury risk that I feel is potentially too overwhelming when I'm staring down at an ADP rank, or I'm on the clock and I see Breece Hall sitting there and I see Amon-Ra St. Brown and AJ Brown sitting there. I waver. Like, had he been good to go from yesterday on, he's back at practice. Everybody thinks the holdout's over. I think he entered the conversation of still being slightly ranked ahead of St. Brown and still being slightly ahead of Amon-Ra of AJ Brown, of both Browns. I think he'd be slightly ahead at this moment in time as he turns his back and walks away from us. And granted, I know a lot of you are pissed off, and I understand why, and I agree with you in some context that these guys are getting paid millions of dollars and they're crying like babies when they have a contract, and they should stick to their contract. But the argument against that, though, for anybody who wants to stay hard-lined on something like that, is the precedent has been set. This is not a world where your contract is your contract, your word is your word. You're trying to bring your own personal beliefs of signing a deal to the table. This is not that game, though. This is a game where it's very much accepted and a part of the negotiation and the strategy of contracts to negotiate your contract early. When you are special and you do something great, it is in both of the parties' interest to get a deal done early so you don't overpay as a team and so you don't get hurt and not get your money if you're the player. So you can bring your whole principle. I'm standing on principle. Jamar Chase should get his $1 million. My Aunt Edna doesn't make $1 million at the dry cleaning firm over here. Like, I get it. You know, do I feel like I want to make what these players make? Do you want to make what these players make? Do we want to make what the lowest players make? Is Aiyuk crying about several $1 million because he wants, $100 million? I get it. But if you are this player, you're doing the same thing. If you are Jamar Chase and you're getting paid $1 million this year and you just watch CeeDee Lamb chop everyone,
Get lambed.
you would be doing a version of this at some point, because if he gets injured, that money won't be as significant. He wants his bag. He's watching everybody else get their bag. His ownership said, we'll maybe give you the bag. But at the end of the day, this is where we're at. And I understand there's going to be a lot of ambiguity, a lot of scared Scotties, a lot of petrified Peters. We've got Saeed coming in with a $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that. There's no message attached to that, but I appreciate you dropping that. Racing Boy says, I just traded Henry and Higgins for Devontae Smith and Achane. Henry and Higgins, love it. Complete smash, right? Before this happened, just my luck. What do you mean right before this happened? Just traded Henry Higgins. You mean because of Higgins? Bro, come on. Racing Boy, you need to do this trade no matter what. I don't care if Jamar Chase says I'm going to hold out for 4 games and come in week 5. You're still doing this trade. Like, I don't know why that would. Not to mention, Racing Boy, if you could undo the trade and he signs his contract tomorrow, are you then pissed off at yourself? You're double stamping a triple stamp at that point. You're no Quincy's. You can't take that back. When this thing could still, he could absolutely be on the field in week 1. $4.99 hauler, trade or drop Jalen Wright. Breece Hall, Achane, Nakua. You got a good squad here. You can't drop Wright. Why would you drop Wright? Trade or drop? Oh, trade or drop for Wright. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you probably got to drop. Man, if Freiermuth is your backup tight end, who's your starting tight end? Is Freiermuth your starting tight end? I think he is. You kind of got to keep him then. You don't have CMC. I'd rather have Wright than Mason. Not saying that you won't live to regret that if something happens. I don't want to drop Braylon Allen. I think, you're in a position where you are throwing a very good prospect back, but you need Jalen Wright if you've got Mostert, my guy. That's just plain and simple. $10 hauler from JV. Appreciate you coming in here with a 10 watt on screen. Could you rate my team? I sure can. Hurts, Barkley, Pacheco, Jacobs. Love that running stable, bro. Hurts can't be really any better than that unless you like Josh Allen or Mahomes better, but it's like pulling teeth. It's like splitting hairs and pulling teeth for me to decide which one I want to rank over the other. Jamar Chase. No, it's Chase Brown. I thought that was Jamar Chase. Wide receivers, Flowers, Tank Dell. Yeah, so your receivers get a little weak. I love Tank Dell. I would have probably drafted someone other than Flowers. Personally, I'm not a big Flowers guy this year. But Kittle's fantastic. Flowers could be very good. I'm not saying he can't be good, but he could be very good. I just don't know that he'll be great. I wonder what wide receiver was on the board when Flowers was taken. It's a good squad. It's a really good squad. You're so top heavy. This is like a version of a tripod in a sense. And Jacobs is phenomenal value. I think you're kind of waiting on Flowers to prove himself. Dell's fantastic. Jameson's really good. I would say you're like a 7.5. You're just in need of maybe the best waiver wire pickup of the year, or maybe at some point you make a trade. But I don't know that I make a trade before week 1. I kind of let that play out. See what Flowers is. See if maybe Lamar is going to turn Flowers into a top 12 wide receiver. He certainly could. I just think because we've never seen him produce a top 25 wide receiver before, Lamar Jackson has never done so, it's hard to count on it. Higgins will have a big year, even bigger without Chase. He's in a contract year and wants to get paid whatever he plays. This is Higgins' year. It could be, and I definitely like Higgins a lot more than I did, I would say, like at the beginning of the offseason. But I think when people start saying I shouldn't have done this trade because I was trading Higgins away or whatever, like Jamar Chase is going to play this year. It's just a matter of like, is he putting his body in a bigger injury risk situation? If I had to guess, there's no way Jamar Chase is not suiting up for week 1. I shouldn't say no way. There's a 5%, 2 to 5% chance Jamar Chase doesn't suit up for week 1. And he's being called day to day by his head coach, who said he'd practice all week long. Now he's day to day. So Higgins is going to have a good year, but Higgins is not a wide receiver 1. Higgins is a high-end wide receiver 2. He's got a little, in my opinion, injury concern that he's always kind of played through a majority of it. I like Higgins a lot. He reminds me of a player that probably will be overvalued to be a team's number 1, and he just shines as a team's number 2. I think he shines in his current environment. He's got rapport with Burrow. If Jamar Chase went down, he could produce top 9 to 12 wide receiver numbers, so he can become a wide receiver 1 when situation calls for it. But there's just no ranking Higgins inside my top 12 wide receivers. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And even if Jamar Chase was expected to miss week 1 with some ambiguity, he's still coming back. Higgins is not going to be the number 1 wide receiver all year unless Chase gets hurt. Now, you could say, Smitty, the injury risk goes up with Jamar Chase holding out, so I like Higgins more because there could be a piece during the season where a stretch of games where Higgins is the number 1 wide receiver for 7 straight games because Jamar Chase gets hurt. Higgins is good, but he's not a number 1. Rate my team: QB Kyler, Lamb, Nico, Tank, Achane, Walker, and Njoku. Flex is Rice. Rice is a fantastic flex. Like the team a lot. Lamb and Nico and Tank Dell is absolutely fantastic. And your running back stable is super underrated. I would say this is an 8.0, maybe 7.9, just to motivate you to hit the waiver wire all year. And don't sleep at the wheel thinking my team's good enough when you could land that waiver pickup and turn it into an 8.8 by having the best pickup of the year. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. And phone lines are open. Dial into the show if you want to have a discussion around this situation. But my conclusion is this. He's going to play. He's going to suit up. A deal either gets done or he shows up and says, yeah, I mean, I have leverage. I have a case. I should be getting paid more. I'm getting $1 million a year. It's kind of weird. But I am also on my 4th year. So, like, I kind of have to come to work at the end of the day. And he most certainly will. But at the same time, I get where everyone's coming from. I get where people are worried about whether he's going to play. I get that some people want to avoid him at all costs because of the added injury risk. It all makes sense to me. And that's why I'm saying today, right here, right now, with him going back into holdout mode, even if it's for 1 or 2 days and he kind of shows back up on Friday and he's in his uniform, he's got his helmet on, but he's not really doing too much, but there's progress and everyone's like, hey, that's good enough for me. I see him out there in his uniform at least. Then, there's the potential that we get a little more excited, but I don't think that it's going to erase the injury risk and fear I have for an already kind of injury labeled player to climb back above Breece Hall, to climb above Bijan, who he wasn't above anyway, to climb above. I would say maybe he gets back over St. Brown and A.J. Brown. Maybe he doesn't. I'm going to play that by ear. I reserve the right to decide later how I'm feeling about A.J. Brown, St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, and every player like Garrett Wilson and Barkley and all those players right in that territory. 845 caller, you're live on the show. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Tommy from Phoenix. Fooled you with the 845. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. Tommy from Phoenix, fellow person in Arizona here. What can I do for you, Tommy?
Well, I was right in on the Chase and Higgins thing, and you're right. He's going to play and he's going to get paid and all that. And Higgins is a solid number 2, no matter what.
Solid.
But without Chase, he's not going to be as good as he could because Chase takes the heat and Higgins reaps the rewards.
I'm not trying to just disagree with everything you're saying, because I think what I would say though is that there is a world where if Higgins is the number one for like a stretch of games that are unplanned, let me give you an example. If let's say a quarterback goes down during the season, but he's not necessarily out for the whole year, defenses are going to plan differently. It's a different vibe. It's a different feel. But if like you were to kick off a whole year knowing that a quarterback was out, or in the case of the same thing here, it's just easier to use this example. If Jamar Chase were done for the year, let's say, in an injury, Higgins would face different defensive schemes and coverages from the jump. But if there's ambiguity, So what I'm saying is he would be shut down more than people expect. He would not play, I think, to the expectation of everybody's, that everybody would have for him. But in a scenario where it's kind of like Chase is coming back, or let's say Chase played 2 games, got hurt in week number 2, didn't play weeks 3 through 8. Weeks 3 through 8 would be different than it would be if
exactly. I'm not trying to cut you off.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago. That's exactly what happened with these same players. I think Chase missed a couple games.
Yeah.
And like you said, but they're not really planning for Higgins.
Yeah. It's just,
so they're sticking with their regular D, and Higgins went off like 3-4 games.
So real quickly, I'll just say that if let's say Jamar Chase were to sit out 4 or 5 games, or let's say gets hurt because of this, and he plays the beginning part of the year, misses 5 games in the middle of the season, Higgins would play like a wide receiver 1, low end variety in those games.
Right.
If Higgins started the entire year as the number 1, I think it'd be a different story. That's all I'm saying. And I think we both agree on that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So we're actually saying the exact same thing.
So
I agree.
so Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase is coming back. He's going to suit up for week 1. I'm 95% certain of that. The only reason I would say there's 5% of me that doesn't quite know is we are in a territory, like an uncharted territory with these contracts, that these players have a little bit more they have a little bit more balls to try and push something, because they know they're going to get paid so much money that this is chump change to them. Even in the case of like Lamb, if Lamb were to have held out and showed up at the the bare minimum to accrue a season, he knows that even though he got paid a lot less this year, waiting to the next season to do his contract extension or sign a new deal, whatever, would have probably gained a lot of ground on the amount of money he missed, because these contracts are growing exponentially. It's not like it's almost the same as last year. We're talking about the difference of the amount of game checks he would miss by holding out. He'd easily gain that back just by waiting a year to sign his contract. And this circles back to Mike Brown and the Bengals in saying that it's in their best interest to sign Jamar Chase right now, because Jamar Chase in 2025, 1 calendar year from now, or even in April of next year, this man is not going to get $100 million guaranteed like CeeDee Lamb just got. He's going to get 130. And it's
that's
crazy.
right. And I think quarterbacks really set that tone last year more than ever, right? We saw them become now $50 million a year. Lamar Jackson got it without an agent. He got over $50 million a year.
Yeah, which is wild.
But it just kept going up, like you're saying. It made sense. Oh, it's going to cost us $40 million this year.
So,
well, if we wait another year, it's going to cost us $48 for the same guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So circling back to what I was saying though, that if the 5% chance of him actually holding out into the season is me saying that it's uncharted territory. These players have a different outlook than they've ever had before. They're not scared about missing money, because he knows he's going to make over $100 million guaranteed on his next contract. If he wants to stand on principle, think of it like this. When a player wears a different color cleat that they're not allowed to wear, or they wear, weird socks, or they do something strange, and they know they're going to get a $20,000 to $50,000 fine, and they don't care because they want to stand on principle. They want to be themselves. Money's not everything. They're going to get more money than they'll ever need, than their kids will ever need, than their grandkids will ever need. So there is a place in this man's mind that he's going to and gravitating toward that says, I'm standing on principle. I don't care if it costs me $5 to $10 million or even $20 million. I'm going to make $100 million guaranteed next year or this year. So I will stand on business, or stand on personal and stand on principle. And that's why I say there's 5, maybe even 10% chance that these guys do something we're not expecting, because now they're getting paid such an insane amount of money that logic might not play into this like we think. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might see the next one.
Right. And they have so much money in the bank already. It's easy to say, screw it.
In the next 1, 2, or 3 years, I predict we see a traditional old school holdout. Because right now, the collective bargaining agreement, the way it was set up, go forward from the moment it was set up to now through next year through end of time, is that if you're not on and he is on a rookie deal, your fines cannot be forgiven. Now, his fines can be forgiven, and I guarantee you they will be forgiven, because he won't come back. He's a stubborn man. But I pretty much feel that within the next 1, 2, or 3 years, we will see somebody do an old school holdout to stand on principle, to stand on business for the sake of a running back position, for the sake of quarterbacks, even though they're getting crazy amounts of money. We're going to see somebody hold out in a weird way that we didn't expect, and we're going to be like, wow.
Let me get this in real quick, because I think you're right. But on the flip, I think also we may see an ownership say, finally, look, enough money is enough money.
Yeah,
you know
we
what?
could.
You sit out, you don't get paid. Screw you.
We could definitely.
When you lose 40, 50
we could see
million.
This could be like a civil war inside the NFL. You know, I definitely could see that. I could definitely see, because at some point, I mean, here's the deal. What happens if the economy goes into major, inflation mode, and all of a sudden you have these contracts that don't get negotiated back or changed or fluctuate with the economy? So what do you do when the NFL's struggling? Sebastian, hey, Tommy, call back in, because for some reason your phone line won't let me add anybody else. Call back right in. Sebastian, try calling in again. For some reason I couldn't add anybody with him on the phone. But we if we see some fluctuation in the amount of revenue being brought in for whatever reason, and these contracts are in place and people are making this crazy amount of money, and it doesn't allow for some dips in revenue, I mean, what happens then? Do some of these teams get in some major trouble, financial trouble at some point? Tough to know, because this money is getting out of control, and it's climbing in a way that I believe is not proportionate to some of the income or the revenue streams that are. There's a lot of the NFL TV market money, commercial money, that is coming in, though, that's making these teams a lot of money and making the NFL a whole lot more money. So I don't know, tough to really break it down until we see some of those numbers, because I believe there is a bunch of money being made this year, next year, that was not being made the years prior. So who the hell knows? But yeah, at some point we're going to see a player hold out, and at some point we are going to see, I agree with the caller, that we're going to see a team step up and say, enough's enough, we're done with it. I don't know if it's going to be with a Jamar Chase or a CD Lamb type, but like an Aiyuk type player, I could see. But the thing is, if the team does call the player's bluff, 8 times out of 10, if that player doesn't have leverage, they're going to come back, and then we'll see the team stand up business, and the team wins. But could there be a total standoff between a CD Lamb type player and an owner like Jerry Jones, that's losing his mind, it seems? That's my opinion. I don't know. It seems like it. And we'll see. In Dak's situation, Dax is different because he can't be franchise tagged, and he can't be traded unless he approves the trade and waives the no trade clause. But let's say Dak was able to be franchise tagged. Next year, we could see someone like Dak with an owner like Jerry literally hold out and not play and be 4 weeks into the season. It's just got to be the right combination of ownership that's just they don't care, and then a player that is in a vulnerable position but that could secure the bag the next year without any hesitation. Like I've said before, Dak could tear his ACL today, be out for the entire season, and he'd walk in and get way more than $100 million on a contract, because we just saw Kirk Cousins tear his Achilles at an older age, get $100 million contract. So it's wild times. 10 team. Hold on one second, Sebastian. Hold on one second. 10 team, full PPR, 3, 2 flex. Can you rate my starting lineup? Chase Brown, St. Brown, AJ Brown, Hurts, Nico, Rice, Neighbors, Najee, Ford. It's a good team. I think you need to trade one of the wide receivers, either Nico or Neighbors, for an RB. I'd probably trade Najee and that player for a monster running back upgrade, and I would be capable of putting Ford in there as my RB2 and rolling the dice if you upgraded. So thank you for your super chat. And then we got two $20 haulers, and Sebastian and Anthony, I'm coming right for you. Just hang tight for me, guys. This is a $20 hauler from Stebby. Appreciate you. $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
One QB. Lamar, AR5, Achane, Jacobs, Connor, Aaron Jones. Okay, I love the running stable. Good quarterbacks. One QB, you could trade one of these QBs. Part of me wonders if you messed up, though, drafting. These are both high draft capital QBs. You grabbed two of them, which maybe put you in a position where you could have had a better running back 2 or whatever, but it's still very good stable. You got Kittle, you got Terry, Dell, Neighbors, Debo. Yeah, I mean, you almost didn't even miss a beat. I'd try and trade Aaron Jones and one of your quarterbacks for a running back or wide receiver. And you got Kittle and Kincaid. I don't know. People are sleeping at the wheel. Mostert owner offered me Kittle. Let's see here. Kittle and Kincaid at tight end. Mostert owner offered me Kittle for Mostert. Yeah, I'd take Mostert if I were you, because you got Achane. I would do that. And I'd try and trade one of your receivers like Neighbors or maybe even Scary Terry. You might need to wait for value to be gained. Don't trade Debo. Don't trade Dell. Trade one of your quarterbacks with that player if you can. And this $20 hauler from Birds. Appreciate you. Yo, Smitty, love the show. What do you think of my squad? Hurts, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, Kyren Williams, James Conner, Kincaid. My flex is Mostert. My bench is Corum. I wish you had Benson, but I'm probably looking to trade Connor and maybe a Deontay for one better player. Past that, your team is straight fire. I love it. I mean, you've got an amazing squad. You've backed up Kyren with Corum. Connor is not a bad running back too. If you had Benson, it would be a whole lot different. You could always try and trade like Brian Thomas Jr. or Dotson and something for Benson. Definitely possible. Mostert's a fantastic flex. I like that a lot. Good team, bro. Very, very good team. You know, Achane would be a great go-get for you because you have Mostert already. Birds, appreciate your $20.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Birds. And that brings us to Sebastian. I'm going to put these two super chats on screen here. Thank you for dropping this, Dre. Dre, your team's good. And Robert, I'm going to put you right here, Robert. Dawson, I'm going to put yours right here. And Hassan, I'm going to put yours right here. I'm coming for you after I answer these phone calls real quickly, pal. Go ahead, Sebastian. You're live.
Smitty, how you doing today?
I'm good, bro.
Chase, so I think he is like a yellow to red flag for me as far as redraft goes. I'm still fine with him in best ball though, just because like best ball is more about down the stretch. But redraft, I think he's becoming a fade for me, like at his cost of entry. Because I mean, like Breece Hall, Bijan, like those guys are all there, and honestly, running backs are worth more in a non-best ball environment. So
where are you drawing the line? Chase. Where are you drawing the line? You're on the clock at the 11 pick. Or are you taking Jamar Chase?
Yes, I'm taking him right there.
Okay.
That's
So
enough of a fall for
So
me.
I think you're not far off from everybody else. I mean, everybody else is like, okay, St. Brown looking a little bit better, A.J. Brown looking a little better, Brees Hall, of course. I mean, you're talking about being at 9, 10, 11. So I don't think you're – I think that's
I think
exactly
he's right there where, like, A.J. Brown is at for me.
That's I think where everybody else is. I don't think you're off out of line. That's exactly where
But
everybody
in
is.
best ball, I do still think he is a top 3 option, though, for sure. He is a little bit concerning. And then I think I found myself in a corpse league. I managed to pull off Hurts, Gibbs, Kyren, Nico, Dell, Kincaid in a 12-man. And I cuffed him to quorum, too.
That's nice, bro. Nice job. Nice job. All right, hang tight, Sebastian, real quick. I'll come back to you. Anthony, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. I was wondering if you'd have my team rate my 12-man league.
All right, read it off. Just give me your starters.
Daniels, Bijan, HN, Evans, Cup, McBride, Kean Coleman, Brian Thomas on the bench. I'm just nervous about Evans pick.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about him too. I know we can keep citing, he's at 1,000 yards, 5,000 years in a row. Like, I get it, but at some point the tree's gonna fall. It's been standing for a long time, weathering through storm after storm.
How do you like my other squad?
I love it. I love it, and I don't hate Evans. Where'd you get him? What round?
I got him too. Might have been like a panic.
Round 2. I mean, your team's really good for drafting Evans in round 2. But yeah, I mean, bro, if you left a Kyren or Achane on the board, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Achane was my keeper, 8th round. Kyren was already taken. Harrison was already taken. Like, it was like DK, Debo. So I took Evans 2, Cup 3.
I mean, you did good.
McBride 4.
You did good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Evans on that team. I'd be tempted. Like I maybe trade him for. Who your RBs again? You have Achane and who?
Bijan.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're fine.
And then Daniels at the quarterback. I mean, they traded away Dotson. You think that's a little nervous or?
No, the Dotson wasn't in their plans. It doesn't matter. Like if they trade him or not, they weren't going to use him.
Yeah, I mean, and Daniels' rushing ability is just really. I think it's going to be insane for fantasy. Hopefully, they get Noah Brown or something. I think that would help the offense.
Noah Brown he's signed with the Commanders. So
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I just say you think I should just hold off for now?
Yeah. I mean, they entertain trying to get like a Puka, giving up something small, trying to trade up and get. I would have taken Debo. I would have taken Debo in a millisecond. But you've seen me talk about that all day long, so it's not like you didn't know that. But if you like Evans, then stay with him. Don't you picked him for a reason. So what do I know?
13 touchdowns. So but I mean, he definitely could fall off.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it, but what do I know? All right, appreciate you, Anthony. Later. Falcon, you're live, Falcon. Smitty to Falcon.
Hey, how you doing, Smitty?
Over. What's up?
So, quick recap. I did offer Tank Dell, Kamara, and another player to try to get Achane, and it didn't work. He responded back, and he wanted Laporta and Kamara, and I just wanted to know what you thought about giving up Kamara and Laporta for Achane.
What would be your tight end be?
It would be Taysom Hill.
Ooh, I mean, I like him, but as like a second. What tight end does he have?
Komet.
And what tight ends are on waivers?
Everybody in my league took 2 tight ends, so you're talking about the bottom of the barrel. Garrett for Chicago, I think, is the next one up on the tight end list.
Jeez. Chat, what do you think on this, given the context of what he's saying? given that there's no tight ends on waivers at all. Like there's literally nothing is what he just told us. And he's got
I currently have
Oscar coming for you.
I currently have Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, and also Josh Allen, and I also have Ford on the bench.
The thing is, you can sell Kamara on the high if you don't like him, and you have a guaranteed top 4 round.
You can't
top 3 tight end. So it's good for your positional needs, and it could be worth
No,
more.
he has Laporta and Kamara.
Oh no, I would keep him.
Yeah,
and I would sell Kamara on the high.
I don't think you're gonna sell him, but try. But also don't mind holding him. Like Kamara's not bad, bro. Like we kind of like Kamara here. Like he doesn't have any competition. It's a decent play this year. So I'm not at all like I would go back to him and or maybe just walk away from the table, see what happens. Maybe he'll come back to you. But yeah, I'd probably just say, given the context that there are no tight ends available, it's a big hit at the position if Taysom Hill can't stay healthy, or he's going to be very inconsistent. So in your situation, you can't do this. It's just way too expensive. One could even argue that Laporta and really anything significant at all is going to be hard for you to recover from with your lineup, because Kamara will be very, very serviceable. I wouldn't sell Kamara short, bro. All right,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, tell him no. Walk away. See what he does. Later, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sebastian. Final thoughts.
Chase, fade him and redraft unless he falls. Honestly,
I mean, you turn quickly on that though. I did wonder how long it would take.
I'm still with him on best ball.
Well, that's because you know why. You know why you're still with him on best ball? Because you drafted him 100,000 times. You came in and said he was the number 1 wide receiver, which I don't blame you. I'm not trying to say that was bad take.
No,
but like,
playoff schedule, that's the selling point.
Of course, you love him in best ball. You drafted him everywhere. Like you gotta love him in best ball. It's already done. I don't know that I would agree that best ball is better for this situation than non-best ball. I mean, it is what it is. If you're in some of these, contests, you can't afford to, have him miss time. That's the major part that's scary, is that holding out sometimes leads to significant soft tissue injuries or an injury of some kind. And like, that's not going to help you, whether it's best ball, non-best ball, it doesn't matter. But I don't know, bro. We'll see. I guess it would protect you from slow start. Like you have another player in weeks 1 and 2 that go a little nuts on your, little 1 week wonder type stuff going on, and they outscore Jamar Chase for his slump, slow unleashing. But I don't know. For me, I'm starting to get really worried about a lot of different things that are involved in this situation. Example, Jamar Chase has an injury kind of history. You could say that's not fair. You could say it's fair, whatever. I don't care. Joe Burrow has an injury history. You could say that's fair, unfair. I don't care. That's just how I feel. I still love Joe Burrow. I still love the Bengals. I still love Jamar Chase. I got a Jamar Chase helmet sitting right here. But there's injury risk there. And then there's also an added, the Bengals have been known to start very slow out of the gate. And you add this component to it where Jamar's not there in sync, in tune. Maybe they start slow out of the gate again. So there's like 3 red flags. It's not just one. So I agree.
What about Christian McCaffrey though? Everyone, they're taking off the injury label for him going into this year after the last 2 years.
Well, that's why
he's going to get hurt.
That's why he's been kind of an avoid at 1 for me, but we got clarity yesterday that at least you know who the cuff is, and that's nice because Mitchell's on IR. I still cuff both of them. I think Rendo's still got a shot of climbing in and becoming the backup week 8, week 10, week 12. Like if you had to pick one running back and you couldn't make a change all year long, like you're draft like best ball, an example. So you say, Smitty, do I draft Mason or do I draft Garendo? I'm going to tell you that is not an easy call if you can only roster one of the backups, because do you need him in the beginning of the year because of the calf injury? Then it's Mason. Do you need him in week 12 because McCaffrey breaks down and the calf injury catches back up to him, it might be Guerendo. That's why if you draft Christian McCaffrey, if you can't house Mason and Guerendo and be that idiot in your league that has 3 running backs for one position when it's the number 1, number 2, number 3 running back, it's not a ridiculous thing, by the way, then you shouldn't be drafting him. If you can't house all 3 of the Niner running backs, which would protect you, through any situation, maybe you go Bijan. Maybe you go Breece Hall. Maybe you go Tyreek Hill. Maybe you go CeeDee Lamb. Maybe drafting McCaffrey's not for you because you got to protect yourself. All right, hey, I got to go, Sebastian. Appreciate you.
How it going, right?
Later, bro. Oscar with a $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Oscar, appreciate you, my guy. Start 3, Lamar, Dak, Aaron Rodgers, Walker, Connor, Garrett Wilson, Debo, Addison, Ferguson, Najee. Good squad, QB, and need one. Oh, what's it say? Couple teams have 1 QB and need one. Okay, what players should I value? Okay, I would say I'd probably rather keep Lamar, given the situation in Dallas, but that's a tough one. I'd probably rather keep Lamar. The problem is you're going to get more trade value from Lamar. So you almost got to just throw both of them out there and see what you can get. But at the end of the day, bro, the players that you might want to consider trading off would be Terrell, please. Terrell, mute yourself real quick. I'll come to you in a second. Najee, I'm trading Najee away. I'm trading potentially. I guess I try and go Najee in the QB. Najee in the QB, go get Jacobs. Najee in the QB, go get Pacheco. Najee in the QB, that deserves a running back at that level. Najee in a QB deserves a wide receiver in that territory as well, a Debo type, a Cooper Kupp type. I think you can get that done. You said a couple teams need a QB, but you didn't say a couple teams need a starting QB. So are people really going to make a big move? Your expectation might be a little high to think that you're going to be able to get a big significant starting piece because somebody's in the backup QB market. So you really need to attack a team that has a weak QB1. I don't think backup QBs is a big deal. Addison's a throw-in to get a deal done for me. I think the fact that you have Connor and Benson together is fantastic. Walker, I don't see Charbonnet, but try that out. Bring me a couple offers that you might see, based on the rosters, and I'll let you know whether I think they're good moves or not. Tank Dell's a great go-get using a quarterback if you want to just get a wide receiver that I think is cheap enough that we believe could be top 10, but other people aren't going to value him. So I'd say Tank Dell would be one. Jacobs, he's either valued high or valued low. This $5 hauler, thanks again for the 20, bro. 12-team Superflex Burrow AR5 JD5. You have flexibility to make a trade. I don't necessarily force it. I could wait weeks to do it so you get the right offer from somebody that freaks out over an injury. But you have a lot of trade potential here. Chase, AJB, what a squad. Kyren Williams, Mostert, very, very good, bro. Very, very good. I like your squad a lot. Benson, Eckler. Look, if I'm trading Lockett and Dowdle for like something, Lockett and Dowdle, maybe that's the only thing you could do. Quarterback and Dowdle. I'm trading quarterback and Dowdle for a top 12 pick. Like, bro, JD5, AR5, and Burrow are all top 12 overall players in a Superflex. Top 15 at least. You should go get a top 12 or 15 player from the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, if you trade one of those QBs in a Superflex and you throw in Dowdle, someone should give you Kyren or Achane type talent back. You've got Kyren already. Go get Achane. You have Mostert. It makes sense. If someone doesn't want to give you Achane for one of your quarterbacks, and I probably say I trade Burrow and I keep the 2 running QBs personally. That's me. If they won't take that and they're weak at quarterback, I don't know if they know what they're doing, because on draft day, JD5, Burrow, and AR5 all go ahead of Achane. So I would attack that. Rate my team: Dynasty 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, Superflex. Pat, Mahomes, Tua, Hall, Bijan, Evans, Pittman, Kupp, Diggs, Kelsey. Love the team. Definitely interested in getting rid of Evans. Definitely would consider Adele very underrated. Even in Dynasty, you could maybe make something like that work. I would try and get on top of that and do it before, it's too late. Pittman Jr. I like, but I don't absolutely love. So that's where I'm kind of headed with this. If this was my team, I think your squad is phenomenal. I think Tua is a very good second QB. I think your 2 running backs, Hall and Bijan, you can't upgrade. Kupp and Kelsey, I ride the wheels off on the Kelsey train before I trade him low. But would I entertain the right deal? Yeah, but I don't think anybody's making a move. So if I'm you, I'm trading Diggs or Pittman or Evans for some underrated players like Dell. And I'm not saying to trade multiple players like that for Dell, but I would trade Evans for Dell straight up, Pittman for Dell straight up, Diggs for Dell straight up. And you might find somebody in Dynasty that doesn't view Dell that valuable. Maybe you could grab... Maybe you could upgrade Tua using Diggs. Diggs and Tua, Pittman and Tua, Evans and Tua for a Josh Allen type player or Jalen Hurts. Cash Money, $5 hauler, 10-man, Lamar, CMC, Gibbs, Kyren. Should I trade Kyren for a higher end wide receiver, or am I good? I would not trade Kyren personally. I love your running stable, and Lamar is fantastic. DJ Moore is probably who I'm trading. I'm keeping Nico. I'd trade DJ Moore and Swift for one player. That's what I would do, bro. Start poking around and try and get, Cooper Kupp type talent. Try and get a London type talent. London would be fantastic. Hassan, what's up, Smitty? Mahomes, Debo, Kupp, Dell, Terry, Coleman, Bijan, Connor, Brooks, Wright. Like the team a lot. Trade Kupp for Achane. Debo, Dell. Yes, I would trade Kupp for Achane. I would probably do it no matter what, but I was just taking a gander at your squad to make sure it wasn't creating an absolutely massive hole. Dawson with a $10 hauler. Dawson, appreciate you. Dawson says, I'm starting Tyler Conklin at tight end. My league drafted them up. Would you trade JD5 and Rice for Kelsey? I have Hurts. Wide receivers are Terry. Yeah, I mean, if you've got JD5 and it's a 1 QB and you're starting Hurts, I would definitely go get Kelsey for that. As much as I love JD5. And I assume that's a redraft. Let me see if you said Dynasty. You didn't say Dynasty anywhere, so as long as it's not Dynasty, I'm good with that. Robert says, what's the draft strategy for a 3 wide receiver, 2 tight end? 2 tight end? I mean, you got to grab at least 1 Kincaid, Laporta type player. I think if it's a 2 tight end, bro. You kind of look at it like Superflex, but I don't know if I'm doing it in round 1, but in round 2, those guys become round 2, round 3 guys. So you're going to have to potentially take one of those tight ends if you can. If not, Kyle Pitts. Get at least one of the Kyle Pitts, Kincaid. Ferguson would be good as well. If you end up going for Fergie, I'm pretty good with that. And then you get a Goddard later, a Taysom Hill later. I'd probably treat the 2 tight end situation much like I would Superflex, where I'm trying to find the value tight end for my second one, like Musgrave, like Ben Sinnott. Get Ben Sinnott as your second tight end, but definitely grab one of the big dogs. 10-team full PPR, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex starting lineup, Hurts, St. Brown. I think I already did this one. Yeah, Ford. I was saying roll with Ford. Nice team, Dre. Terrell, what's up, man? You're live.
What's up? Needed some advice on my team. I have Patrick Mahomes is a 10-team super flex. I have Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Marvin Harrison, Debo, Kyle Pitts, Rashee Rice, Tank Dell, Chase Brown, Brian Robertson, Mostert, and Joshua Palmer.
Okay, I retained some of that, but what's the question? What do you need help with?
So someone in my league offered me Dak and Kyren for Hurts. I've been debating on doing it, on accepting that trade.
It's a 1 QB?
2 QB, super.
Oh, 2 QB,
so I have
okay.
Patrick Mahomes and Hurts.
You have Patrick Mahomes and Hurts, and you go down to Dak.
Dak and Kyren, yeah.
And you go from Kyren, if you didn't do it, Kyren down to what running back would you be starting instead of Kyren?
I have Jacobs and Kenneth Walker. I also have Mostert, Brian Robinson, and Chase Brown.
I think I would just keep Mahomes, bro, because I think Mahomes is gonna, in a super flex, he's gonna throw 40, 45 touchdowns. I think with your quarterbacks, you're winning this league, and your team is super good. And at the end of the day, what if Walker ends up being a top 10 running back this year? They fully want to use him as a 3-down back. Grubb's system is going to be phenomenal. Stretch the field. They're going to live in the red zone a whole lot more. I love Kyren more, but I think I'm trying a different move. Do you have a third quarterback? You could send Walker in the third quarterback, for Kyren or whatever.
I don't have a third quarterback. My bench is full at the moment. And if I did accept that trade, I would have to drop someone. That was the issue because it was a 2-for-1.
I still wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. You got it. You got plenty of talent. Walker's good enough. You're basically saying Mahomes and Walker, or Dak Prescott.
It was Hurts. He wanted.
Oh, you want it Hurts? Yeah. Well, same thing. I mean, you're getting rid of. He's getting rid of an amazing player. So I'd say no. I don't know. Let's see. Mahomes hits different. Hurts, can I get by with Dak? You give me Kyren, so it's a 2-for-1. Who are you cutting?
That's the thing. I was like, do I cut Chase Brown or Joshua Palmer?
Palmer.
If I do that.
Palmer. Okay, Palmer. This has hit me different now. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, Dak and Kyren versus Hurts. I love Hurts, but he is got a 95% changed offense. I mean, what if he struggles a little bit or something out the gate? Guys, are we feeling good enough about Dak? I mean, QB4 last year. Are we feeling good enough about Dak to say, give me the running back? I love Hurts. I'm not trading Mahomes. I would say no to that one for sure. But am I taking the gamble from Hurts to Dak Prescott to get Kyren? You have Walker, though. Jeez, man.
And the thing is, I would have to sit like either Walker or Jacobs.
Yeah, I know. That's the part that's like getting me. It's like Hurts and Walker over Dak and Kyren. Keep the quarterback, bro. Your team's really good. Just keep the quarterback. It's a super flex. Like Dak is solid. He's solid, but Hurts is going in the top 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Either way, you're good, bud. All right, later, bro. That's a tough one. That is a really tough one. Mainly because I love Kyren so much, and Dak is put some respect on him, right? $20 hauler from Nicholas. Let's go, Nicholas.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat.
All right, phone lines are closed, guys. Sorry, I gotta get through these super chats. Nicholas, appreciate you. What's your take? Josh Allen, Tua, Breece Hall, Gibbs, Jacobs, St. Brown, Debo, Waddle, Laporta, McBride are my starters. On the bench, I've got Neighbors and Keon. You got Neighbors on your bench, Tank Dell on your bench, Adunze on your bench. What are we doing, Nicholas? What are you playing with? Grandma, Aunt Edna, Aunt Edith? What are we doing here, bro? Josh Allen, Tua. Okay, is this Superflex? I don't know if this is Superflex. I don't see Superflex, so I'm going to assume it's 1 QB. Breece Hall, Gibbs, Jacobs, St. Brown, Debo, Waddle, Laporta, McBride. Okay, so I mean, I don't. If you're asking what you should do, Brooks on IR, you're trading away some of these bench guys with one of your starters, or just 2 bench guys to get one bigger gun. But you can't upgrade Hall. You can't upgrade Gibbs. I don't want you to even upgrade Jacobs. I love it. Josh Allen, St. Brown, can't upgrade him. Debo can't really upgrade him. Waddle. So Waddle and maybe a... God, man. I don't even know like what you do here. I mean, you could upgrade Jacobs. You could go Jacobs and Neighbors for like a top 3 running back. You know, you could go try and get Bijan using Jacobs and Neighbors easily. And if you can't pull that off, I mean, it's harder to do 2 wide receivers for 1 wide receiver. It's weird. You need to find the right team that it works with, but it's doable. Waddle and maybe Neighbors for a, you know, you've got St. Brown, but St. Brown type. I mean, these are the only moves you can make, bro. You got so much depth, too, that I don't know. Like, you could even wait a couple weeks and figure this out versus forcing something. Like, Dell starts going nuts on your bench. Dunze becomes a top 15 overall wide receiver real quickly or something. You can make a move later. $10 hauler. Don't rush it. $10 hauler on this one from Henry. Thanks again, Nicholas, for the super chat. Don't rush it. If you got another, like, offer, bring it to me, and we'll figure it out. Brees is my keeper. Will lose a second. I have a 3rd pick in the draft on the fence with pairing Brees with potentially Bijan or pairing him with a receiver like Hill or Lamb. I don't mind doing the Lamb or Hill pairing. I really don't. Brees is my number 1, but if you do have a freaking Brees Hall keeper, it does make it nice to come out with Lamb chops, and you get the keeper value with... No, you don't, because you're taking him too high, right? I'm going to say, given you have Hall already, I lean a little bit toward balance unless Brees Hall has keeper value from this. If you have to write him into round 1, that's still decent to lock him down because you could get like the 10 pick and write him into round 1, and then that's value. But I would say, like, I lean toward Lamb if there's keeper value at all. If there's not, then Hill and Lamb are kind of even. And I think starting off your team with that kind of balance gives you flexibility that going RB might not in this scenario. But you got to answer that question is, can you still get a Debo and a Dell if you do go Bijan? If you can, then I could see myself going that route personally. But if you don't think you're going to get receivers like that, go balance, bro. I kind of get a sense in this league with the keepers, you're going to run dry really quick. I would probably go with the wide receiver unless you disagree and you know that you're going to be able to get Dell and Debo or a Devontae Smith and Debo or a Dell and DK or a Cup and DK or a Cup and Dell. If you could get 2 receivers like that, very much in the realm of going running back. That's the way I roll when those things go that route. Appreciate you, my guy, for dropping the super chat. Moving 1 QB to Superflex next year. Still drafting this year in the 12-team 4 keeper. How do you approach keepers in a draft for Superflex? I'm scooping up like Bo Nix. I'm scooping up Fields maybe at the end of the draft. I think Bo Nix is a fantastic one. Penix Jr., make sure you're grabbing those guys. Jay, Penix Jr. at the end of this draft might end up being gold for you later. TM, draft strategy, 10-man league, 12-man Superflex. Draft strategy in a 10-man versus 12-man. Early quarterback, running back. Because everybody's going to look very similar. You want to dominate the positions you can dominate. You're not going to dominate wide receiver because everyone's going to have wide receivers that are absolutely phenomenal. I went running back, quarterback, tight end. And I still got Dell and Cup in a 10-man grandma league. You know, so like... actually, no, I went running back, quarterback, Cup, tight end, Dell. So, like, you know what I mean? So make sure you get the quarterback. Dominate quarterback scoring. There will be only 3 QBs that score as much as the Mahomes and Josh Allen type and Hurts. So, like, grab one of them. And that's my main strategy. My second main strategy is going RB. Because you want to have a Bijan and a Kyren, a Bijan and an Achane, a Bijan and a Barkley, and you want to dominate that. You have to set yourself apart from everybody else, at least by the QBs and running backs, in my opinion, in the 10-man. Everyone's going to have great teams in a 10-man. Everybody. Sup, Smitty, good to be back for another year. Joey, glad you're back. You've been missing a lot, though, but glad you're back. Scott Hansen was on yesterday. Go watch that interview show. Scott Hansen's mug is on the thumbnail, and we have this.
It's your boy Scott Hansen from NFL Red Zone, and 17 weeks of commercial-free fantasy football start now. Let's go, mashed potatoes! Yeah, buddy. I've never seen you wide shot there, my dude. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, this is Scott Hansen. What a glorious man. I got the 10th pick this year. Who should I target in the draft? I would say, I love going Jahmyr Gibbs, A.J. Brown, St. Brown at that territory. I even go Kyren, Joey. I go Kyren a lot. I'm grabbing probably one of those guys. If Jamar Chase falls, I probably am not passing that opportunity up. $10 hauler from Isaac. Appreciate you. That's where I draw the line and just say, whatever, I'm doing it. You can tell people don't actually watch games. Pacheco has been returning kicks since he joined the league. Kyren returned kicks for the first time 3 to 4 games last year. McVay just made it official. Yeah, Isaac, it's funny. It's wild. The people that come in and go, oh boy, this isn't good, Smitty, and they comment on a post somewhere, I'm just shaking my head. Do I want Kyren to be more susceptible to injury? No, I don't. But at the same time, if anybody thinks this is a negative toward McVay's love for him, McVay loves him. He wants the ball in his hands at all times. And in my Instagram post, McVay said, I got it up on IG. Go check out my IG, The Fantasy Football Show. I think it's the most recent one I have of McVay talking about Kyren. And he says that I feel really confident with him returning punts because if he needs to be spelled, if he needs to be spelled, I have faith in the backups, Corum and Rivers, if need be. I don't know what people need to hear to know that Kyren's going to explode. It is wild to me. People just want to look for something. They want to be right so bad. All the anti-Kyren people, when they see stuff like this, like the foot injury, remember? Oh, I knew he was going to get hurt. The foot injury was nothing. He's going to lose his job when he sits out with the foot. It was like we blinked and he was back, and he looks amazing. The foot injury. The foot injury. How do those people feel now? Yeah, they're not around anymore. Now all of a sudden people circling back going, oh my God. Oh my God. Now you've got returning kicks. I admit it's not what I want. If I could press a button and have somebody else return kicks, I probably would. But maybe I changed my mind on that because depends on my scoring. You got to look at your scoring. Not every league will award points for a touchdown return. It won't give you return yards, but there are leagues that if you score a touchdown on a return, you're getting 6 points. Some of that matters, right? But at the end of the day, the new rules, this is kind of like a running play. It's not necessarily a return anymore. So I'm not worried. And he's going to return it. And what do you think? He's going to go run to the sideline and sit out for three plays and let Corum take his job? No, it's ridiculous to me. I think we're going to have more just absolute ludicrous Kyren statements in the next weeks that is going to be absolutely wild. What's up, bro? Drafting tonight. Is Gibbs still have your stamp of approval? It certainly does. Kyren, Gibbs are locks at the 12-13 turn. Achane, in my opinion, is worth anywhere in round 2. But if Chase fell to you at your, what pick is it? It depends where you're drafting, at 10, 9, I'm still taking him. Would I take a running back over him? Maybe. Falcon, appreciate you dropping the $2 wad on screen, broski. You're the man, the myth, the legend. Christian with the $5. Gaming with the $5, and Racing Boy coming in strong with another $5. And again, Racing Boy, I wasn't trying to be hard on your stance earlier. I just wanted you to understand that you having a moment of hesitation in your amazing trade because you heard that Chase was in street clothes again for today is an overreaction, a gross overreaction. And you shouldn't be regretting an amazing trade because Higgins might get more work today. You know what I mean? You're Jalen Wright and Leggett for my Benson. McConkey or Mostert for my Benson. Trying to get handcuffed for Achane. Okay, so McConkey or Mostert for my Benson. Leggett for my Benson. I like... Here's the thing, bro. I like Mostert's a fantastic, not even cuff standalone player. I'm probably taking Mostert just because he might be a running back, top 5 to 10 running back right now. That doesn't have to do with Achane, but I want you to cuff all of them. Is there a way to make an additional trade to get right? I want you to have all 3. $5 hauler, 10 team, but I do that Mostert trade. 10-team PPR in order: Chase, Kyren, Mahomes, Debo, Walker, McBride. Like the team. A really good squad. McBride, man, Warren, great team. I'd say it's a 7.99999 just to give you the motivation to make sure you're not sleeping on the waiver wire, because I imagine there's a team or two that's as good as yours, but if you land that waiver wire pick, bro, you were going to the moon and you're going to beat everybody. Christian Kellogg, appreciate you. I have Kyler, Bijan, Warren, Evans, Debo, Neighbors, MHJ, Brooks, McBride, Rice, Thomas Jr., Pollard, Bowers, and a 9-man. 9-man. I haven't seen a 9-man yet this year. Who dropped off? Did we have a buddy go missing on some sort of camping venture? Did he go hiking and never come back? Why we got 9 guys? I think I've done that before in years past. We had a 10-man league like 20 years ago, and we wanted to draft. We couldn't find another solid guy, so I think we did go 9 one time. It's been a while though. Any moves to make with his team? Look, Kyler, Bijan, fantastic. Debo, Neighbors, MHJ, unbelievable. McBride, fantastic. Rice, good God. Like, who's your quarterback? Kyler, you're just no move to make other than trade Kyler and Evans, or Kyler and Thomas Jr., or Kyler and Brooks, or Kyler and Evans will work to go get the best quarterback in football. Because your depth is so crazy. Bro, Rashee Rice on your bench. You got McBride. You got Thomas Jr. You got such a good team. You could maybe trade Bowers and maybe Kyler to upgrade into a Hurts, a Josh Allen, or Mahomes. But that's the only move to make for you. You do that. You make yourself that. You give it yourself that differential. Then everybody who's got loaded teams in this 9-man league, because everybody's got great teams, you've got the difference maker. You've got the top overall player in Mahomes, let's say, and he throws for 45 touchdowns. And you have the depth, because everybody has the depth to do it. And not to mention, the waiver wires probably got guys that I love to pick up. So do it 2 for 1, open up a spot, 9-man league, do it live. I appreciate you all. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully we got news on Brandon Aiyuk. Practice looms. John Lynch was asked, what if he don't? Lynch said he will deal with that. I don't know if I trust that report, but there was a report earlier that Brandon Aiyuk would be practicing, and then there was a report that said Brandon Aiyuk would not practice. Then I got reports 59 seconds ago that say Brandon Aiyuk not at practice. Brandon Aiyuk not at practice. Saga continues. Adam Schefter, do not see Brandon Aiyuk at the start of practice. So that's probably leading off our 8 p.m. show. Unfortunately, another darn Aiyuk video. I'll see you all there. Appreciate you. Isaac with the $5 holler to walk out of the show. We got 514 people in here. A respectable 167 thumbs up, but I would appreciate if everybody could try and hit that thumb up button. With Henry's vacated 280 carries from last year, who do you think will be the Titans running back? Tajay only had 100 carries last year. I think Pollard, they want to be the majority carry getter, but Spears is that receiving back, so it kind of limits Pollard's ability to be a two-dimensional player. So Tajay Spears getting majority of the receiving work and then taking some of Pollard's running work makes him the most valuable player, but is he the most, is he the top carry getter? Probably not. So it's going to be one of those things where it's a committee, but Spears is worth more, especially in PPR and half PPR. Maybe not in non-PPR, but he's the guy that's worth more, and that's the player I want to own. Not saying I don't like Pollard. We love Pollard. Would I give him a shot again? Yeah, but Tennessee's line, although improved, it's still, Tennessee's a hard team to kind of, figure, because you don't know what Levis is going to do. You don't know how it's going to all shake out, and they're going to throw. This is not a running team anymore. So Spears will be heavily involved. And then you think about the fact that if Tennessee, even though they might be better than a lot of people expect, they're going to be a throwing team. They're going to throw the damn ball like crazy. Like, very few quarterbacks threw the ball down the field more than Levis last year. I'm not saying it was all pretty, but he threw the ball downfield more than almost any quarterback in the National Football League. And if the Titans are losing, what running backs on the field when they're playing catch up, when they're in the third and fourth quarter down by 7 to 15 to 25 points? Tajay Spears. So Tajay's my guy. Do it live. Mike making an embarrassing comment saying Kyren's on his way to planet Uranus. Kyren's going to the freaking Saturn, and you guys, I love, you see an anti-Kyren owner that's doubling down when they think that this return news is bad.
He's Kyren, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyren, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Appreciate you all. I got our seat. E11, email me through thefantasyfootballshow.com. I don't know what you're saying there. Email me through there. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. And if anybody's wondering about the Patreon League, I told all you guys I'd DM you on Patreon the links, but it's going to take me some time because when you're doing a league like that, you're sending out 22 invites. You got to make sure you're sending out just the right amount of invites. You got to try and get everybody's responses, find out who's not accepting an invite and joining, and then I got to replace those and send new invites out. So it takes some time. So if that's what you're referencing, that you joined the Patreon League and you're waiting your link, I haven't sent it yet. I will send it to anybody that joined last night. And really, anybody that joins today, the Patreon link is in the description of the video. I can't guarantee you'll get a spot, but I can pretty much say that there's probably going to be a handful of Patreon spots still left, and I'll go in order of which the people join the Patreon. So appreciate you all. Last super chat of the day here by Soap Dog. 12-man PPR. Do I make this trade? Kelsey, Dobbs for Kittle and Dobbs. Do I make this trade? Kelsey and Dobbs for Kittle and Dobbs. I have Gibbs, Kyren. I don't know. There's 2 copies of Dobbs. Kind of wild, bro. Soap Dog, I don't know if you meant to first of all, $10 holler. I'll wait for you to clarify on this one, Soap Dog. Sean, if you join the Patreon today, you'll probably get a link. I can't guarantee today that everybody will get one, but there should be spots. Kittle and Spears. Okay. Kelsey and Dobbs for Kittle and Spears. Gibbs, Kyren. No. I don't need Spears. I'm gonna keep Kelsey on the chance that he has a phenomenal final hurrah. Bowers, my starting tight end in a 10-man. Is that okay? Sure. I'm fine with that. Who cares? Let it ride. Let it ride. Live Monday through Friday, live whenever. Additionally, live whenever big news breaks. See you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. Silver Rapture in the building. Kyren season in full effect.